Hi and welcome back to Dizzy So and So. Today's project is going to be a leather bound bag with a leather bag bottom and some leather handles. So what do you need to make your bag? Firstly, you need your leather bottom and your bag handles. These are from Prim and they make all sorts of different colours and lovely different styles of handles. Go shopping, it's great fun, and your imagination is where it ends. Okay, so what do you need to make it work other than that? You need some needles, something quite robust. It's got holes in the leather, so you don't really need a sharp darning needle. A wool needle would do, but a darning needle is probably the best option. You need some Wonder Tape, which is like double-sided tape. Creative yarn, and that's to sew the edges of your leather onto your fabric, the main fabric of the bag. Some hemming web, and then of course the fabric you're going to use to make the main body of your bag. And I've also included some of this, and this is a heavyweight fusible interfacing. Basically just iron it on to the back of your fabric just to give the bag some stiffness, some body, so that when you put it down on the floor it just goes boof. Because this fabric's quite a light cotton. Ideally, once heavy fabrics work really well with this, canvases, heavyweight cottons, but I really like the style on this. It goes well for the purpose of the bag, which is going to be a sewing bag for my mum. Love you, mum. And hopefully she's going to like it at the end. So let's go. So the first step is to cut the fabric to size. And basically we need a piece of fabric that is as wide as your leather bottom. And that will come apparent as why a bit later. But when you're taking this out of the packet, don't throw it away, because all the instructions of how to make this bag are on here. So once you've watched this video and you're doing it for yourself and what's the next step? Either watch the video again, or all the instructions are on here. Okay, so let's start by ironing on our interfacing to the back of the fabric. If you look at the interfacing, it's got a bobbly side, which is all the glue, and a smooth side. You want the glue towards the fabric. And iron the fabric, don't iron the fusible interfacing, otherwise you'll have glue all over your iron. Make sure it doesn't come over, your fabric overlaps your interfacing and not the other way around, otherwise again you'll have glue on your iron. You don't want that. And if you're wondering about this fabric, it comes from Abacum Fabrics. I'll put a little link in the information part of the video, but they've got some fantastic fabrics out there. This is just one of many, and I really like it, and you can spend hours there. But anyway, getting back to the bag. So once you've put your fusible interfacing on, fold it in half and just gently fold a crease in there. And this is so we can line up our bag bottom with the halfway point of our fabrics. Now also, I've cannily used a fabric which is the right way up either way. So it's the right way up that way and it's the right way up that way. If you haven't, you want your pattern to be top at the open edge, so you need to cut two pieces of fabric and then sew them down the centre seam. Where I've ironed, you can then sew it together, making sure that the wrong sides are together, so the seam allowance is on the outside, because that's going to get covered by the leather bottom, and you'll have a nice seam on the inside that doesn't look unsightly. So we've ironed on our fusible interfacing and we've considered our pattern. If you have a seam here, then you need to line that seam. I have a crease because of the pattern. You have to line the crease of the leather, so make sure it's nice and centred, good centred crease. Line the crease of the leather with the crease of your bag. Okay, so I've placed wonder tape just under the holes on this side and the same on this side. Just remove the backing. I've obviously dropped this tape on the floor a couple of times. There we go. I'm going to line up that centre crease with the crease or the seam in my fabric, and then just push that down like that. Okay, so now we've trimmed up our fabric to the width of our bag bottom. What we need to do is use a back stitch to sew the bag bottom onto the fabric. So you need about 1, 2 and a bit length of creative yarn. Tie a knot in the end as you would normally. And then with a darning needle you're going to do the back stitch, and I'll show you how to do that now. Start your back stitch by tying a knot and coming up for the first hole, and going down the next hole, and then, whoops, where's the hole? And this is where the back stitch starts. Pull it nice and tight, but not too tight that you get a pucker, and then come back down that hole, and then if you just fold the fabric a little and get you, so you're missing this hole. So you're coming back 1 and going forward 2. Oh, a little knot there. So back 1 and forward 2. Back 1 and forward 2. So it's dead simple. Keep doing your back stitch all the way along until it looks something a little bit like that, all the way along. So we've sewn our 2 rows of back stitching here and here. So the next step is to cut out the fabric from this opening here. Do that both ends. So by now your bag should resemble what my bag looks like, and the next step is to measure from here 28 centimeters. I've lined it up on my cutting board so that when I line up on the side here it's 28 centimeters. So I'm going to measure from here to be 28 centimeters and then trim the excess. You can make this bigger if you want to. This is just the recommended size from Prim's instructions, so I'm going to stick with those at the moment. So your bag should resemble something like this at the moment. And we're going to fold it right sides together and making sure the tops of our bag bottoms are lined up where we're going to sew. And it's a very fine seam allowance on this of about 6mm. We get some pins. Just pin it in place for sewing along this edge. We've sewn up either side with a 6mm seam allowance. So press flat your seam, and then with the hole that's left in the corners, pull it flat together, secure it with a couple of pins, and then sew across the ends on both sides. Now we're going to turn it inside out to see how it looks. Pretty good. So with our Omni grid, measure 1 centimetre down and mark along the top. Just 1 centimetre, so 1 centimetre down, mark along the top. And then using some hem tape, lay that along your 1 centimetre line and just press into position. With that pressed in position, remove the backing. Do that both sides, by the way, I've already done the other side. And then fold over that top centimetre, and press flat. Do that all the way around. Once you've done that all the way around, you're going to fold over 3 centimetres. Where's our Omni grid? 1, 2, 3. A bit shorter, which is there. So with our Omni grid, 3 centimetres, and just press the hem. And again, do that all the way around. So with the hem pressed over, we're going to top stitch all the way along this edge, as close to the edge as possible, until we've gone all the way around. Okay, for placement of our bag handles, I've pressed it open, so this is pressed open at the seam, and we want to come in 12 centimetres from the side, which is about there. Let's just pop that pin in for the moat, and then we want to come in 8.5 centimetres down from the top. So if I pop that pin in there, and then transpose this pin down to here. This horizontal pin is the bottom of where the bag handle attaches, and the vertical pin shows me the centre line of where the bag handle attaches. So whilst holding the end of the bag handle against the fabric, which is easier said than done, it's a bit fiddly, it's worth persevering and taking your time with. and just carry on with the back stitch you use for the bag bottom to secure your bag handle. So there you have it. Both bag handles hand sewn on with the back stitch, and that's the bag complete. Hopefully Mum will like that. I hope your bags come out as well as mine did, and feel free to post them on Facebook. Thanks for watching Dizzy So and So, and don't forget to subscribe.